Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Tim from Warballoon.
And this is Jordan from Warballoon. I am one of the designers and artists working on Star Command Galaxies.
And I am one of the developers working on Star Command Galaxies. And today we are here to talk about our newest update, A Day in the Life.
Yes, this is the second alpha for Star Command Galaxies. And one of the reasons we picked that title is to kind of give you an idea what the focus is, and that's basically the day-to-day operations of your crew on your ship.
Not just your crew on your ship, but I would even say just your crew in general. Your crew on a planet, your crew in their head.
Yes, I agree. And yeah, we'll kind of talk through all that stuff, give you an idea of kind of what we focused on and what's coming and what's broken, which is a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But I'd say let's jump into the features. The first feature we've got here, we've actually gone ahead and we've redesigned the ship entirely. Inside, outside, the ship is completely new, completely redesigned.
Yep, and the idea for that was to give you an idea of kind of what a more day-to-day operation will feel like. The ship that we had in the first alpha was just kind of a test ship, while the new ship is more of a fully functioning kitchen. You can see a kitchen, you can see a coffee maker, beds, a teleporter here, really all the functions that your crew needs. And so we kind of flushed that out a bit so that you'd have more to do.
Very good. I'd say there's not really a lot extra. This should just give you a better feel for the game, but it also helps to play in a lot with what we're going for the crew motivations. For instance, you'll notice with the kitchenette, you can go and eat.
Yes. So one of the things that you're going to notice is your guys are going to be hungry. You'll see I think you probably just saw a little while ago their thought for I'm thinking about food came up. And one of the things that we've added is automation, the needs of your crew, and essentially their mood. So you can see this character right here. He's next to a bush, and he's becoming very happy about it. And everyone just got hungry at the same time.
So now they're going to go eat, and you'll notice over on the right we've got these food pellets, and you'll notice as you're eating, the food is going down in your ship, so you can keep track of how much food you have. And once you lose 10 food, one of those pellets will go away.
Yep. And so you'll kind of notice I'll mark it right here, this guy thinking about a planet. That's a desire versus a need for food. We'll cover desires in just a little bit, but I wanted to be sure that everyone kind of caught that. There's a slight bug you guys will notice where guys, after they eat, the red bubble won't go away, but that will be fixed in future versions. So these guys might have that floating around for a little bit here.
Yeah, but you'll notice that you can go eat, and we should probably also show them. I think we should show them the filters as well.
Yeah, when you highlight things when you mouse over elements in the game, you can see the new mouse cursor and cursor state that we kind of developed. And that was a huge undertaking. It made the game significantly more stable, and it should be a lot more intuitive what your guys can and cannot interact with, which was one of the bigger problems of the first alpha. One of the other things you can kind of start to see is the mood of characters right down here. That's another major new feature, which is essentially how good of a mood they're in. That is derivative of how much food they're getting, how much sleep they're getting. Let's have this guy go ahead and go to sleep. And right now, really one of the problems the problem that you're essentially having is guys want to go do something. They have a desire. One of these guys, your security guy, wants to go down to a planet, and the other two want to go meet with a species on the planet. And so the only prescription for that is to actually go down to the planet. We have quite a bit in here. We redid the teleporters as well. Tim, do you want to kind of cover what we did there?
Yeah, so with the teleporters, before it was kind of weird where you would click your character, you would click on a teleporter, and then that one character could teleport if you clicked on the right spot, but then it was kind of weird to get your character off the teleporter if you didn't want to. Plus it was kind of weird that, like, okay, I've got two guys on the teleporter. No one's really running it. They're all just doing their own individual teleporter. This system right now, we've got it to where you have teleport pads. So everyone you're teleporting stands on a pad, and then you have one person running the teleporter, one person one person that's sending them down to the planet.
So you'll see some of those sparks fly off of guys, and that's basically you fulfilling their desires. They beam down to the planet, and these two characters, my security officers, wanted to go down to the planet. That was their desire, and now that I've done that, essentially their loyalty has gone up. And
you can also see that their mood has gone up. The bar, which you can see sort of in the lower right of the crew GUI there. It's now a lot closer to the happy face.
Yes, and basically one of the primary things about, one of the other complaints about the first alpha is what the heck am I supposed to do? And desires are basically the first step in that, which is essentially your crew and more importantly the characters of the game. Their desires will help guide you on what your quote-unquote mission is. So if you meet a trader, he'll have a desire for, Antorian goods, or if you talk to Star Command Admiral, his desire will be for you to clear a certain sector or something like that. That way, one of the things we're getting away from is actually writing the content, telling you exactly how the game is going to play out.
And this kind of plays in a lot with, you might have seen our blog post a while back on sort of the best way to do a tutorial, the best way to sort of understand how to play the game. This sort of gets into making every game unique, and sort of, at this point, the characters teach you how to play the game as compared to just a text prompt that you have to skip every time.
That's exactly right. So we'll go up here. One of these guys' desires was to talk to the Rizzi, which are this race that we've come that is new in the new version. And so we'll have these guys go talk to them. One of the tricks you'll see is that these guys are always in motion, so it's hard to catch them and actually complete the task. But weuld get there.
You'll also notice that there's a little animal.
Oh yeah, I thought he was going to shoot the character. So there's new on-planet enemies that we're playing around with. That eventually those will have a melee attack, but for now they're just shooting at us.
See, I still kind of like the idea of them having lasers, so it's just like it's like Dr. Klibaticus's failed experiments or something like that.
That's exactly right. So you just saw this guy get happy. We got another.
Another animal. Go save yourself, Dexter.
Yeah, exactly.
And you'll also notice, looking at this, you can see slightly different health bars for the animals and for the other characters. So we're still sort of playing around with the best way to do that, but that's sort of the latest implementation we have.
Yes, that's exactly right. So we're walking around, and these guys, one of the things you'll start to see is guys getting hungry on planets. And so one of the things we want to be clear about is the game isn't suddenly a micro-managed game where you have to, cater to every single, need and whim of a character. They should automatically take care of a lot of things, and right now the burn rate for food is a little bit high. But the primary factor for food and energy is not for when you have it, it's for when you don't. It's really only a problem when you get into a battle and all your food is sucked out into space and now you have a huge shortage of food. Or you go down to a planet and you've spent too much time there and it's time to get back up to your ship. The whole idea is to make it so that your crew isn't always in the best mood, isn't always in the best condition to go on the adventures that you're going to go on. So they'll have to go rest, they'll have to sleep, they'll get sick, and you'll have to do things like, go play video games. Let's go have this guy go play some games. Go ahead.
And I think that that's going to be really good. You're also going to get to see here something that we've been working on, which is sort of, we were talking a little bit earlier about loyalty. You're really going to get to see here what loyalty adds in. A lot better. As you can see, he's excited, he's jumping up, you got fireworks going on.
Exactly. And the characters are starting to get some life. And again, that's the big focus compared to the mobile version of the game is, your characters are the focus. You should feel when a guy gets sucked out of an airlock, you should feel, some sense of remorse. You should feel like these guys have relationships on the ship. That there's a living, breathing crew going on, not just basically cannon fodder for you to kill.
And I would say on that same token, you can see here, and I think that the new animations you can see here kind of play to that, is your ship is somewhat living as well. So you don't just click on it and then this is just like the console you're using. It's sort of, your character is actually activating it, they're actually navigating, they're actually running every part of your ship. So your characters have their own life, The ship has its own life, and basically you've got a ship community.
That's exactly right. And so one of the other things about loyalty, the opposite end of loyalty, and those penalties and bonuses aren't in the game yet, but a disloyal crew will present quite the problem where they'll stop listening to you, or they'll get as bad as to put together mutiny and overthrow your captain. One of the other things about desires is that they can be spread. So a highly loyal crew will listen to your captain's desires, while a not so loyal crew will be less inclined to listen to your dreams and your desires of your own captain.
Yeah, and really that's a lot of what we're trying to go for here. Is we want to make it so that you're taking care of your crew, so that you're basically the captain of the ship.
That's exactly right. And one of the other things is like desires will be competing. Some, like you can see kind of where one guy might want to go down to a planet, another guy might have a fear of going down to jungle planets or things like that. So and then you have a choice to make as the captain. Who do I bring on this mission? Who's the right staff? And maybe the right staff doesn't want to be in the situation that you're in. So all these things are problems that you need to weigh as the captain.
So now that we've sort of discussed this, let's discuss some of the things that aren't in just yet.
One of the problems is crashes, loading and unloading assets. And inventories is another thing that we've decided to remove.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of the reason for that is inventories right now, they're set up as maps. So when you open up an inventory, behind the guy you've got basically a map of items that he's carrying. And we're sort of looking at a better way to do that, but right now it sort of merges in with the rest of the map, and it sort of has a lot of the same loading and unloading issues. So right now inventories are going to be hidden, but I expect that in our next build we will have those back.
Yes, I virtually can guarantee it. But one of the problems right now is you can't go down to a planet and essentially collect food or do some of the things that you're going to do in Star Command in the finished game, which is collect resources on planets. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, so sad, so sad.
Collect resources for your crew. So we'll just have this guy walk around until. Let's go see if we can find the Antorians and get him in deep trouble.
A couple other bugs you'll notice here, just while we're on it. The bars don't always refresh as they should. It's something we're looking at. But you'll also notice one thing that we've sort of had in our comps we've talked about, but we haven't added in yet. In the right part of the crew GUI there, we're going to have desire bubbles, so you can see what your crew's been thinking, and you can sort of get like a time capsule of who your crew member is.
Yes, and then the other thing you'll be seeing is their loyalty, their relationships with other crew members, things like their personality, kind of what's helping define this person, and assignments on the ship, and kind of basically what they're doing. So basically what's making this character tick. So we'll look for the Antorian base, see if we can find that. Get this guy probably murdered.
Sounds good.
The other thing that we should probably talk about is just the overall stability of the game. As much as we talk about some of the bugs, the overall stability of the game is actually significantly improved. We've had some issues with Max and things like that, but overall, our cursor manager, the way we're compressing maps is much improved over the previous version.
Yeah, so you should have a much quicker load times, much quicker close times, as compared to before where you would go to load up a planet and you might as well just go make some lunch, check on the kids.
Beat the dog.
Yeah, whatever you got to do. Yeah, so you should at least have more of a gameplay experience, and though we are still going to work to make it a much better experience to where loading and unloading feels somewhat seamless, where it just feels like just one of those extra things, we are still in alpha, so that is still a little ways away.
Yeah, I think the bottom the takeaway from this build is there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, and one of the big things that this has laid the groundwork for is the ship combat update, which will be the update coming out in February. We'll be focused on ship combat now that we have desires and a lot of the loading and unloading problems fixed, needs, moods, things like that. It's a lot easier to implement things like ship combat, ship-to-ship combat against enemy ships. I can't find the Antorian base. You can see one of the problems with a procedurally generated map is I don't know where the Antorian base is.
And part of the catch to this too, and you'll find this when you're playing, is there's no
here we
guarantee that you'll actually have the Antorian map.
That's exactly right. We have not gone back to, one of the things to be clear on is we have not gone back to things like combat or the planet generation itself. Those kind of remain unchanged from the last build. We just kind of wanted to focus on the day-to-day operations of your characters.
Yeah, but that's probably something we'll look at with ship combat, with character combat, and I would say really what I'm hoping people give us back in feedback out of this is I want to know sort of how does the play control feel? Does it feel like you're actually controlling your crew? Does it feel like you're controlling a living being here, or does it feel like you're just clicking around a screen?
Exactly. Yeah, and some of the more fuzzy things like are the missions clear? What can we do to make them more clear? One of the goals of our game is to not like we said, we're trying to stay away from text. We're trying to sell things, trying to tell you ideas like I'm hungry, I want to go visit a planet, through icons, through glyphs, rather than simply just really, quite literally laying it out for you, typing it out for you.
Yeah, because really the idea is if you wind up having it typed out for you, you're just playing the same game over and over again. And part of what we're hoping for here, a lot of replay value where every time you play, it's a new adventure.
That's exactly right. And some of it is also some of the your own self-storytelling. A character, if he's hungry, we don't tell you that this person is a glutton or, doesn't like food or is an alcoholic. You kind of start to fill that story in yourself. Just kind of seeing this guy constantly want alcohol, or he really doesn't like to be around alien races, making him a racist, things like that. We don't really want to tell you exactly who the characters are and aren't.
Yeah, this should be your own story. This should be your own game. And so we hope that you enjoy A Day in the Life. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you think, and we will be back soon.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. And we should have the next update, Alpha 3, the ship combat update, towards the end of February. Probably about February 27th is the plan as of now. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks.